What's going on, everybody? Zera back with another CigarCast. It's so good to see you guys, man. I'm telling you what, it's been too long since I've had me one of these babies. Last weekend, my wife's brother and sister came over and visited for a while, so we were busy entertaining them, and before that it was trying to squeeze in date night with the wife, and there was just a whole lot of things going on, and it was just easier for me to just sit down and relax in my comfort of my own office and just do just a talking head video. So we're gonna pick back up with the CigarCast. Prime Gurkha here, already primed and ready to go. So with that, let's light this puppy up and we'll get this conversation started. How's everybody doing, man? Let me know in the comments how you doing, man. I'm just so excited, man. Let's light this baby up. There we go. That evenly distributed burn, you know what I'm saying? There we go. There's some craziness going on over yonder. Oh, there's a nice little puff. And of course, it wouldn't be a CigarCast without my man's Diet Snaffle. Takes two to mango. So, here we are talking about WoW Classic. I tell you what, man, the closer we get, man, the more pumped I get for the actual content. Classic has got so much momentum moving forward. I see so many people streaming it, and it just breaks my heart to think there are so many people out there that don't stream, that just want to love the game and enjoy it. And then there's people like me who casually stream, or at least used to casually stream, and are looking to break out, you know, to do it full time. And because we took a break, because WoW content on retail has been lacking for a while, even before BFA, we struck out, man. We didn't get lucky. We didn't get beta access. But thankfully, there's a lot of people that did, that are doing content, that are covering some things. There's a couple, 2 or 3 videos I want to talk about. First video is like, how am I gonna deal with the sheer magnitude of players and the influx at launch? I mean, to be completely honest with you, as primed and as ready for Classic as I am, there's a part of me that is worried. You know, come launch, it will be the 26th for those of us in the US, and Australia, Europe, East Asia, they're all gonna have to deal with playing it on the 27th. For them, it'll be early in the morning. For us, it'll be, you know, late afternoon, early evening hours. There's gonna be a lot of people online. A lot of people online at that time. A lot of people are taking off work, myself included. I haven't gotten it officially approved yet. I know I can get at least a week off for sure, but I'm trying to swing it to where I can get 12 days off. Not quite 2 weeks, but close enough. I'm very confident that if it wasn't a launch day or a launch week and Classic wasn't so huge, I'm very confident that if this was just a regular, typical server that had been up and running for months at a time, I would be able to get to 60 in 7 days, no problem. Wouldn't even think twice about that. Man, we're talking the initial 2 or 3 days is just gonna be a madhouse, man. I mean, it's literally going to be a madhouse. I mean, it's going to be so much craziness. Now, granted, sharding, phasing, whatever, coin of phrase you want to give it, that's the technology Blizzard is building for that very purpose. They don't want people to be frustrated because of the inability to kill a specific mob a number of times. And they don't want to have, 3,000 players trying to do the same exact quest in the same small area. But, I mean, what are you going to do? Things are going to be the way they are. It is what it is. And we don't really know how effective or how efficient sharding, phasing is going to be. I mean, if Blizzard really wants to test this technology, I would like to see an early access beta, but make it available to everybody. Everybody. And set it up for prime time access. Like, that sucker goes live like 5 p.m. Eastern, or excuse me, like maybe, I don't know, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, and 5 p.m. Pacific. Like, just let that puppy just woof. Just let that puppy just fly. And see how people take to it. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? You know what I mean? I am concerned. I've been watching a lot of videos about people doing speed runs on private servers, and I've seen dwarves and night elves, hunters, make it from 1 to 11, 1 to 10, 1 to 6, and some 2 hours less for 10, and things of that nature. And I have no doubt that I could do better if I could practice, but I don't have beta to practice. I'm not downloading a private server, so just out of respect for Blizzard, of course. A similar respect that I like to think that I'm extended, but I'm not gonna lie, my feelings are a little hurt that I didn't get beta. But I understand. I mean, they've got their priorities. And I was even on the fence about playing Classic for a long time, but not anymore. But that's my concern. Is what is it going to look like on launch day? And I may need those 12 days to make the difference. I have no doubt that even with the crazy launch day, I could probably get north of 50 in 7 days. But I want to get 60. I want that initial hump to be done and over with. So that way I don't have to spend more than, 3 or 4 days a week playing 4 hours a day to do what I need to do. Like, I have a wife, I have a life, we're going to have kids soon, I got a job, 12 hours a day, 3 or 4 days a week. Like, date night and visiting other visiting family members once a month, like, even visiting with friends, 1 weekend out of the month. Like, there's so much that my wife and I want to do. And I'm an adult, so I'm going to do everything I can to prioritize my life, not around World of Warcraft. I'm not 16 years old. I can't do that anymore. So that's why I'm taking off from work. It's my vacation. I can do it well, won't. And I've saved up enough, and I'm going to take just enough vacation to where I have another set of vacation days set aside so me and my wife can go on a cruise that we want to go on at the end of the year, before we move locations. I mean, these are things that I've been setting in stone, and conversations with the wife, and it's all very flexible in a lot of ways. But I'm worried that Classic is just going to be a crapshoot, man. At least for that first 24 to 48 hours. And I know some people have told me in my guild Discord that they're not even going to bother playing Classic until after the first day. I mean, they'll log on and maybe do an exploration experience. Like, they'll go to, Ironforge and Stormwind and Goldshire and Northshire and Duskwood and Lakeshire and all these other places to get all these flight paths and stuff set up and ready, and probably also get to level 4, 5, whatever it could be. And then they'll shut down. They'll go back to their, you know, specific starting area of their choice. If they're Dwarf, they may decide to park it in Goldshire. It's a prime location. You go from Goldshire to, or you go from Elwyn Forest to Westfall to Lake, to Red Ridge, and then Duskwood, back and forth between those two up to about level 26, 27, and then you can go north to Wetlands a little bit, and then from there you can go back and return to Red Ridge and go into Duskwood, quest there for a little while, and then bounce into Stranglethornvale. I mean, the Alliance has it pretty easy, especially the humans. Not everybody's about that Kalimdor life, man. I know a lot of guides, like Joanna's guide, has you double back to Darkshore, and you hang out there until you're basically 20, and then a little bit of Ashenvale, a little bit of, you know, all that other stuff early on. That's probably the route I'm going to take, to be honest with you, because I'm leveling a hunter, he levels a hunter, it just makes sense. He has a lot of hunter-specific quests that he actually lines out with his guide, and a lot of guides don't do that. So, plus I trust the source, you know. Some of these guides I'm not too sure about, but we'll see. So that's concern number one. Concern number two, let's just get this out in the open, is kind of feeding off of the initial concern with, is it going to be a crapshoot on day one? And how much, if any, is sharding or phasing going to do? For me, the big question comes down to Dwarf or Night Elf. The only two races that can be a hunter in for the Alliance. Night Elf is undeniably the best PvE choice. I mean, they get the higher base agility to start with. Their agility scales a little better because of that. They have a 10-second cooldown on Shadow Meld, which is freaking OP as hell, which makes drinking and eating amazing when you're questing. Wisp is at 50%, so if you die while questing, Wisp, we were way back at 150% movement speed. That's, I mean, there's just too much. There's too many good things. There's too many good things about the Night Elf to pass up. If you're specifically looking for a faster leveling experience and, you know, min-maxing in-game content. And there's also this benefit as well, is that places like the Night Elf starting zone, Teldrassil, they're going to be very, very much not a crapshoot when Classic launches. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to take that level 1 run as Night Elves and leave Teldrassil altogether. Get on the boat at Arbordyne and then make their way back to Stormwind. A lot of people are going to do it. Don't kid yourself. It's going to happen because a lot of people prefer the human starting zone. And they'll probably get several levels while doing exploration experience and all that other jazz, and there you go. I even had one guy who's going to be a warlock tell me that he's thinking about making the run to Winterspring immediately so that he can get the flight path, so that when he gets to his, you know, mid-upper 40s, he can go to Winterspring and spam chat with a warlock and sell summons. I'm like, that's kind of dumb. I mean, I guess I can understand his point. He makes some quick casts that way, especially because it basically allows players to skip the hours that it would take to get reputation to get through that cave. And I'm like, a lot of players will just do the graveyard run through that cave. I don't really see the, or better yet, Paladins, which Alliance exclusive to, Paladins could probably just bubble their way through. I don't know. It just didn't feel right. That doesn't sound like a good idea to me. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It just came out of left field. I'd never heard of that before. But any way to make money, you know, especially in Classic when money's high commodity, especially early on. But while the Night Elves have a lot of benefits, they don't have Stone Form, which to me is undoubtedly the best racial in the game. I mean, it's Stone Form or Will of the Forsaken, dude. Being able to get out of fear or get out of blind. Like, that is, either one of those is just absolutely just, it's crazy to think about. And a hunter who's able to get out of blind is probably the most OP hunter in the game. I'm just throwing it out there. Rogues can't even touch me. So, I don't know. My heart says Dwarf, my brain says Night Elf. Just because Dwarves don't have a Wisp spirit, so they're slow to res. And while their starting zone is better designed than the Night Elves, everybody, and I'm of the belief that mostly everybody that's going to play a caster, a priest, and maybe even half of the paladins, obviously, are all going to be right there in the Dwarf starting zone. Because Dwarves and Gnomes both start there. The best caster in the game for Alliance is a Gnome, whether it's Mage or Warlock. And Shadow Priest for, well, Gnomes can't be priests in vanilla, but you get my point though. Like, casters are pretty ballin', either a Warlock or a Mage, that 5% intellect buff. But then there's also Dwarves, you know, are one of the only two classes or races that can be paladins, so half the paladins are going to start there. And then Dwarf is by far and away the best priest in the game, hands down. Like, human might be a close second because of the spirit bonus, but I don't know, man. I just, Dunmer Rogue just feels like it's fixing to get really, really, really crowded. But with all my experience, not only as a hunter, having played the class, you know, come 15 years in this November, what the hell does that mean? Like, does that mean I'm going to be more efficient than most of the players? Most likely. A lot of these guys, it'll be the first time they've ever played vanilla, ever even tasted it. But there's no guarantee I'm even going to be able to get in, because not only do I have to download the classic when it comes available, which I'm sure they'll allow us to download, you know, weeks in advance. We'll probably have to download it in order to register for our names on August 12th or whatever that is. I don't know, man. Just something just doesn't feel right about the Dwarf. I'm concerned, I'm worried, and I may be panicking for no reason, but somebody in my guild chat reached back out to me and was like, dude, you need to just play whatever you want to play. Like, don't worry about, you know, how fast you're going to level with specific, you know, whatever. Just play what you want to play. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I get your point, but the faster I get to 60, the more beneficial it's going to be, not only for me, but for the guild as a collective whole. Because I'm going to be doing this whole farming alts. I'm going to have 10 alts on a second account that are all going to get to level 35, so that I can max out all their professions, and all 10 of them are going to be alchemist and tailors, so I can farm 40 Arcanite bars a week and 20 Mooncloth a week. Like, that's the goal. Like, that's the end game product. So the faster I get to 60, the better off I'm going to be. Because if I can do in those first 12 days, let's say I get all 12 days off, the sooner I get to 60, the remainder of that 12 days can be maxing my own professions, working towards getting my 100% mount. And there's just so much that I'll be able to do. Maxing out first aid is a big one. I'm not even going to bother start doing best in slot farming probably until at least week 3, maybe even week 4. I mean, I already made my list of where my pre-raid best in slot gear is. Blackrock Spire and Strathome. That's it. That's it. Now, of course, there's Elbers, Ubers. Elbers, Ubers, there's Strathome, Main Gate, and Service Gate, or Life side, Undead side. So, who knows, man? It's gonna be crazy. So, that's the goal, anyway. But we all know what the best laid plans are, right? I mean, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. But that's the goal. But I'm like 99% sure I'm just going to have to wing this mostly. And because as much as you can research or plan something out, and you guys will know this from your experiences in life and gaming and whatever else, there's just so many variables you're not going to be able to foresee. And as panicked and as worried about classic launch as I am, I know Blizzard's got to be sweating. You know Blizzard's got to be sweating. If not about the performance of their servers and the integrity of their servers, which I'm sure will hold up, but there's also the simple fact of the matter that Classic is outperforming BFA like tenfold. Probably even more so. I wouldn't be surprised if the number of subscriptions skyrockets come August, like middle of August, just so people can register for their names. I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. And you know what else? I'd be willing to bet you that even after the initial 6-month hype goes away, which is what I'm guessing 6 to 9 months is how long it'll take for the hype to come down, I'd be willing to bet you that their subscriber numbers don't drop. Nope. Nope. I think everybody is going to be enamored with vanilla or classic, and they're going to stick with it for a little while. But I think eventually they're going to slow down, and the pace of the game is going to slow down. I can't believe people are saying they're going to down rag in week 1. That's not even possible. Let me say this again. That is not even possible. There are fights in Molten Core you can't even do without a certain amount of fire resist. Like, period. End of discussion. There are fights you can't even attempt without fire resist. Let's not also forget, you have to have at least, 8 or 9 people that have enough reputation with the Hydraxian faction to be able to just douse the runes. I mean, that just boggles the mind. You have resistance, you have rep grinds. I don't even think it's going to be possible in week 2. I really don't, because you still need to get everybody keyed. Of course, MC is kind of a joke. The attunement for MC is, but you still got to get gear. Even if it's just basic gear, you still got to get some basic level 60, level 58, level 59 blues to even stand a chance where you can. And then you got to get a full dedicated team of 40. I mean, do I think Method could do it in 2 or 3 weeks? Yeah, I think Method could do it in possibly 2, but I'm leaning more towards 3 weeks. But there's also the fact that their raids had different lockouts. So if they're pushing Oni twice a week, I mean, yeah, they could definitely do it in 2 weeks. If they get 3 full Oni clears done in 2 weeks, MC by the end of week 2, early week 3, I don't think they're gonna have a problem. But for people to say that everybody's gonna do that, or every guild's gonna achieve that, not gonna happen, dude. I'm sorry. No. I'm willing to bet you that most guilds that come out swinging at launch day are going to fizzle out. And I'm willing to bet you that a lot of guilds are probably going to merge, because people are going to start looking around and realizing, oh crap, my supposed 60-man roster decided to just dip out. And they're going to go to this other guild. Or it could happen that, you know, really hardcore players in a certain guild, really hardcore players of a certain guild are going to start looking at their guild roster, and they're going to realize, oh snap, here I am level 58, and the next nearest person to me is like level 32. Yeah, this ain't going to fly. And they're going to find somebody else that they've probably been leveling with, and they're going to ask them, hey, how's your guild looking? Oh yeah, man, we've already got like 1260s, and everybody else is already above level 48. I mean, we're going to be ready. We're going to be ready to farm best in slot gear and stuff here within the next 2 weeks, and so on and so forth. And that dude's going to be like, the hell with my guild, sign me up with yours. Like, I don't know, man. I see that coming. I see that happening a lot. And I'm sorry, but in vanilla, there was no, let me say this again, there was no such thing as like purely casual guild play. It did not exist. Every guild was a semi-hardcore raiding guild. Everybody was. Because that was the only way to get gear. Unless you farm the rank 14 grind, which, let's be honest, nobody with a life is going to do that. Nobody. I'm willing to bet you that it's probably going to be, back then it was like top 1 of 1%. I'm willing to bet you that now it's going to be like the top 1 of the top 1 of the top 1%. I mean, we're talking like probably going to be at least 2 zeros in front of that decimal point before you even get a shot at being able to get rank 14. Because my God, dude, it's going to be ridiculous. Because there's going to be people, there's going to be streamers, there's going to be streaming parties or whatever. They're going to make it their personal job to gank you. If they get wind that you're trying to get rank 14, you're probably on a PvP server, and you're probably, I mean, your only hope of getting rank 14 is getting a really dedicated group of 5 or 10 and just running AB or Warsong Gulch over and over and over and over and over and over and over. There's no other way you're going to get it efficiently. At least I don't think. I could be proven wrong here. Now, if you're on a PvE server, hell, dude, go for it. Rank 14 is going to be a cinch on PvE servers, because everybody else is going to be so freaking busy doing split runs and a whole bunch of other stuff with raids, and you know, doing Oni twice a week and potentially MC twice a week if they can do split runs and stuff. I mean, there's going to be so many people on these PvE servers that are going to be pushing really hard to get that high-end gear. PvP gear won't even be an issue. They won't need it, because they'll have raid gear that's basically better than or equivalent to. It won't be an issue. And with the fact that they're doing phasing, or the phases are going to be the way that they're going to be, with phase 1 being Oni and MC, phase 2 being, what was it, Dire Maul and Dire Maul, Azure Ghost, and Kazak, phase 3 being Blackwing Lair. So essentially, even if every single phase was 2.5 months, which is what most people are thinking they're going to be, you're talking about having 5 months, 5 whole months. Let's just go ahead and round it to 6 months. 6 months of Oni, MC, and Dire Maul. And Dire Maul, of course, coming in the latter half. Man, I'm telling you. That is going to be so much fun. But it's also going to give a lot of people a lot of opportunity to be successful. I mean, if you were to ask me, I think 8 weeks for a good guild, to get a great jump start into I keep wanting to say expansion, getting a great jump start into Classic. I think 8 weeks is a good time frame. 4 weeks if you're really ultra hardcore, but my guild, for example, I'm guessing between 8 to 10 weeks is when we're probably going to start raiding. Because I don't know if there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be able to get to 60. Most of us will get to 60 within the first 2 weeks. Most of us will. But that still leaves another 15, 16, 17, 18 people that still need to get to 60 over the course of the next 2-3 weeks. And even then, at that point, you're a month and a week, a month and 2 weeks into the game. You still have to farm, make sure everybody has their farm rep. Of course, the more hardcore guys are probably going to have it, so you might have enough rep. But then it's getting everybody attuned. That's probably going to take a week at least. And then getting everybody a decent amount of fire resist, which at this point, the hardcore players have probably farmed up enough resources to make it, majority of it. But there's still going to be that handful of players that still need 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 or 4 pieces left. And some of it's actual, like, gear drops from dungeons. So that's probably going to take another week. So, yeah, that comes into about that 8 to 10 week area. I mean, it's a lot of work. People are going to have to be willing to step up to the plate. It ain't like now where you've got crap like LFR or LFG or whatever else. That stuff didn't exist. Or about where like classes only wear what their classes are meant to wear. Like hunters always wear mail, warriors always wear plate, paladins always wear plate, rogues always wear leather, druids always wear leather. That don't work. That don't fly in vanilla, man. That don't fly in vanilla. I promise you, you will see more warriors, DPS warriors, running around with leather gear. You'll see so many paladins running around with priest gear. It's ridiculous. And by priest gear, I just mean cloth in general. There's so much to look forward to, guys. I'm psyched. I'm pumped. Oh, golly. So, that's it, man. I'm just concerned, I'm worried, that I'm excited. I can't even... I'm so excited. Zera will return. The only question is, will I be a dwarf, as I was in vanilla, come November 15 years ago, or am I going to be a night elf? I just don't know. God help me, dude. I just do not know. Part of me wants to really badly be a night elf. For a couple reasons. Primarily just the fact that, one, it'll be a lot easier. I truly believe it'll be easier. I think I'll have a level faster, more efficiently, more effectively, no matter what. But also because it would be like a blending of the species. For those of you that have followed my channel for the longest time, you'll probably know this. I started out streaming with my Resto Druid. You go back to my Twitch and you look at all my previous broadcasts, the Hunter didn't even come in until much later into my streaming life. Much later. And the Guardian Druid was the last thing I streamed. My Resto Druids would got me on the map with Swifty and some other streamers, Bajira. Got me into the 2s and 3s bracket, but my Druid guides, my Resto Druid guides are just as popular as my Hunter guides were back in WoD, but Vanilla's a different beast, man. I don't want to play Druid in Vanilla. If I did anything, I would probably use a Druid to farm with, or level ults with, just because of travel form, but I don't know, man. I think having a Hunter, because it's what I was all those years ago, but then making it a Night Elf because I played a Night Elf Resto Druid for so many years during Kata and Mop and WoD. 3 expansions worth. That's almost half the life of the game. So I think that would be a happy compromise, you know? Hunter with a Night Elf, bring them together, combine their forces, combine the effort. Because let's be honest, if Stoneform is literally the only reason why I'm going to play a Hunter, what the hell happens at TBC? Stoneform gets nerfed in TBC because blind is no longer considered a poison. It's now a physical ability. So the only reason I really want Stoneform to begin with is going to be worthless. Whereas in Shadow Meld, it still stays the way it is in vanilla in TBC. It doesn't change, I think, until Wrath or Kata. So the question becomes, if Stoneform is the only reason, is that a good enough reason? I don't know. Dwarfs also have gun specialization, but there's only 2 guns that are best in slot for me. One of them being my pre-raid best in slot, which can be made by a blacksmith. Or excuse me, an engineer. Which does kind of make entry-level raiding easy if you're a dwarf. But, and the only other difference in in best in slot is the rifle, the epic rifle that drops off of an optional boss, an AQ-40, which most people are probably just going to pass up. Most people don't want to deal with an optional boss if they can avoid it. And even then, the difference between that and Crossbow of Smiting, which you get from Blackwing Lair, which is best in slot for every other race of Hunter, including all the races in Horde side, that's best in slot for all of them until Nerubian Slavemaker and Naxxramas. So, I mean, is it worth rolling Hunter for that? Probably not. I'm just saying it opens up more avenues for progression, at least itemized wise. At least it allows you to mix it up a little bit. I don't know. My guild and my guildies are putting together like a 30-minute to an hour meet and greet in Discord tonight. A lot of us have already been chatting it up, but we're closing in on less than 2 months away from the Classic launch, and I told the guys, I was like, man, I think it's time we start getting together in voice chat more often, and they all agreed. So we're setting this up around our eventual raid times just to kind of get everybody in that mental mentality that keep these times and days open. So coming to the end of the lifespan of this cigar, which, you know what that means, guys? This video is coming to an end. Although I don't want it to. I'm enjoying this. It's been too long since I've done this. But with that being said, what do you guys think? Do I play Dwarf or do I play Night Elf? You know what? That's what the name of the CigarCast is going to be. Should Zera play Night Elf or a Dwarf Hunter? And you know what else? I'm going to put a poll on this video. Let me know what you guys think. Should I stay Dwarf or should I play Night Elf? Night Elf is going to allow me to get level faster, more efficiently, and more effectively throughout the entirety of 1 to 60. But the Dwarf is where my heart is. And it's also what's going to give me the biggest edge in PvP in vanilla. So, one last puff. Love you guys. See you guys in the next video. Be sure to check out the poll down below. And also be sure to visit my Twitch, man. Be sure to follow me on Twitch. Stream's firing up next week, guys. 1 week from today. Beta access or no beta access, we're going to fire up the stream and we're going to talk. We're going to hang out. We're going to have some fun. Maybe playing some retro games. Just doing whatever I can. And we're going to go over talent trees. We're going to go over routes, and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. So, as always, guys, love you. Continue to stay kind to one another, and I'll see you guys in the next video. This is Salty Zera, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.